Welcome mates, I am BloodThirstyLord, but you can call me Lordy, and we're back once again for another Predator Hunting Grounds video. And within this video, we'll be going through my thoughts about the weapons within Predator Hunting Grounds and creating our own tier list on those weapons that are available in the game currently right now. Before we do get this video, make sure to hit that like button and show support towards the channel. Hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with us, and there's also a join button too if you want to support the channel even further and beyond. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. So on the website right now, making our own tier list, and we have 10 items available for us to utilize. We have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier with all these weapons. So let's just start off with one of the worst weapons in the game, so we can start putting this at a benchmark, and that will be the War Club. The War Club is one of the most useless items to utilize within the weapon category because it's a primary or secondary item. It could be any. It just takes so much just to make it work. And even then, you're compromising so much compared to all the other weapons you could be using within the game itself. So I always find this to be an issue. The combo timing is awful. The combo animation is awful. The 3-hit mechanic is bad. Even when they added the flashbang mechanic to it and also the slow mechanic to it, it's still not good enough. So they need to change this in some manner, or just delete the item and replace with another item that could be more useful. Maybe it's the War Club, or maybe it's something else like an axe instead. Just something different, because this item does not work at all. It's just always like a meme item. It's never taken seriously because it doesn't have enough damage output or DPS in that time to actually affect the players. Because of using a bear trap and net gun as well to supply against this, to help out with this item, it does not work too well. It never does. So I find out the War Cup to always be a very hard item to utilize because it doesn't work in any situation. It's something that you just take for the memes. Honestly, that's what it is. Let's move on to the next weapon, and that's the Katana. The Katana is a very intriguing one. I'm going to put it maybe at B tier, just for the fact that it does have bleed damage, so it's good. Every time you hit an enemy, it'll apply a bleed stack, and also that does damage towards the enemy over time. Very good item, but the problem is with this item, it takes 6 to 7 hits initially with the base damage to obviously drop down a player. So that's a lot more than other items that will be up in the A tier or the S tier. So B tier, I feel like it's a good position for it because there is some mechanics when you just hit them and run away. You're pretty much doing hit or run with this item to make them bleed, and then going for another engagement after it, or followed by range attacks with other items. This item on its own is like a benchmark of all the items within the game. So we'll put that at B tier for the Katana. Then we have the Elder Sword. Elder Sword is possibly, I'm thinking, A tier or S tier. I'm thinking about the bar usage. The bar usage that it takes isn't too much as well. It's pretty decent. It's got good bar usage and good animations with the weapon, but I'm going to put that at A tier. I think that's good enough for it. The Elder Sword being an A tier is very good because it does enough damage when you need to go for melee strikes, but obviously you're vulnerable for long distance, so if people start playing around your distance or your lunges with the Elder Sword, obviously they can play around it and try and defeat you. But if you are a Predator main, you should be able to use this weapon very easily with any combo with bear traps and net gun as well. Let's talk about the next item, that is the combi stick. I used to think this was S tier, then it dropped down to C tier, then it went back up in my opinion. I think it's still going to be classified as a... I think it could be classified as S tier. No, I don't think so. I think it's A tier. The reason I'm going to say A tier, because obviously you can still parry the attacks. It's very easy to parry. It's never been a problem parrying a combi stick. The only problem that comes out with it for enemies is when you start using that as a range component. So that's why I've left it in the A tier, because the range component is actually carrying the item. So what you do is usually go for one hit, and before they can parry, just start to chuck your actual item towards them, because it does so much damage. I think it's around 150 damage if you get a headshot with the item. It is insane. It can pretty much one-shot characters with the combi stick. It is very good. Then we're going to move on to the S tier items, which I think will be the net gun itself. But then I'm going to also put this net gun at A tier. I would say S tier if it was unlimited, but since it's not unlimited, it's only got 20, I'm going to put that at A tier. So the net gun is a very good item to stop people from parrying your attacks, because there's always going to be that one guy, or maybe a whole team of them, that know how to parry your attacks every time you try and engage, and net gun will help out quite a bit before you go for that full engagement. So I always find that to be a very good item against teams that do parry a lot, so make sure to utilize it. But once you're out of net gun usage, after shooting 20 nets, the item becomes pretty much useless. So we're going to keep that at A tier. It's for Predators that want to destroy a fire team really quickly. That's when you use the net gun, because it allows you to pretty much go full engage as quickly as possible, apply 3 nets on the fire team member, finish the one that doesn't have the net on him, and then finish the rest after it. Or apply the net and keep going through that same repetition effect of applying those nets and doing damage towards them. It is so much fun. I feel like the net gun has to be at A tier. The next item I'm going to put is the plasma pistol. I think this is S tier. I honestly think it's S tier. The reason why, because you're going to remain in stealth. You have 6 bullets, it's fast recharging, it doesn't drain of your actual energy bar when you're playing the Predator, so it's always fun, and it seems like no one knows where the actual location is when you're shooting this item. So if you jump to a certain location, start shooting the pistol, it's always so hard for the fighter to actually find where the position of the Predator is when using this item, and also with invisibility. It is crazy good. So I'm going to leave that at S tier because I think it deserves that place. Another item is the Smart Disc, which I'm going to put at S tier. Even though it has some downsides to it, I think it deserves the S tier rank due to the fact that no one can parry it. It is so fast and it's easy to control if you get really good at it. And once you are, you get those easy multi-kills, like with no issues at all. And the reason why I put it in S tier, even though it has a disadvantage, which is if it does get caught, so if it gets caught to a wall or anything, players can shoot the item and it will get destroyed. You always have to be careful about that, but if you're a good Predator, you'll make sure that it doesn't hit a wall or terrain as much as possible, so then you can actually curve it around and bring it back towards you. That's always a good factor with the Smart Disc, so you can keep going for that constant pressure with the item. I think it deserves that S tier. And let's move on to the next item, the bow. The bow I'm going to put at B tier. The Yaocho bow, it needs to be a B tier because I think because of the velocity, the wind-up effect, and the damage, I don't feel like it's enough for it to be as rewarding. It is a very fun item to use without a doubt, but I feel like B tier is where it is positioned because it has all the factors that you want from it, but sadly it's not too fast enough. It doesn't do too much damage in that time span when you have to charge it. But if you're just shooting shots quickly, you can do that as well, but I don't think it's that effective. It's alright because it isn't a hit scan item compared to like the plasma pistol, which feels like more of a hit scan item, but that's something to keep in mind. I feel like the bow is in that position because it deserves to be there with all those components of the item. Then we have wrist blades. Wrist blades is going to be like here. The reason why wrist blades is A tier because it's so fast, it makes it very hard for people to actually parry. But once you're obviously getting parried, it becomes kind of bad. So maybe it's B as well. I think it's B as well. Yeah, we'll put it at B. And the last one is the plasma pistol on your shoulder, which I think deserves this position without a doubt in the A tier. I think that's what it's going to be. I'm trying to think. Is it worse than that? No, plasma pistol's perfect. I think the plasma pistol is always great because you can use it in every build. And, like, it's there. Use it when you need to, especially if you're doing a melee build on the Predator. Using the plasma caster on your shoulder works out really darn well. Instead of trying to carry some other items that will do the exact same factor, just use this. It works out really good. I'm trying to see, is this the list? Is this the actual tier list for all weapons? SS for those. Yeah, that makes sense. Elder Sword, yep. Combine Stick. Maybe we should rearrange it. Maybe. No, I don't think so. I think it's perfect. I was thinking about putting wrist blades here because the reason why wrist blades, yeah, it's good, but I don't think it's good enough. Like, obviously, it's got quick times and everything, and it makes it harder to parry. But once they parry, like, 2 of the hits, you pretty much just sit and duck. Or compared to these other weapons here, being the bow, the net gun, and the actual plasma pistol, you do have the wrist blade mechanic on those items there for melee damage. So that still happens there, but I feel like for this item on its own, it's alright. But if it's with other items, it gets really good. I think that's the idea. Yeah, I think that's our tier list. That is our tier list of all the weapons, and I think it's pretty spot on because we've done this a couple times on the channel, and you can see what is actually working, what isn't, and the things that do work are usually more fun, like this stuff here. It gets pretty chaotic. You put these two together, it works out really down well. But then you have to start thinking of combos. The combo will be the plasma pistol, smart disc, and the plasma caster on your shoulder, because that's naturally what it's going to be. But you can replace it depending on the teams you're versing. But having these two items here, pretty much God tier or S tier for any type of team comp, because you can try and destroy them from afar without fully engaging until you need to. But even then, you don't need to. I don't see it as being a possibility unless you want to go for one-shots with your combine stick, with the range component, or utilize the Elder Sword to do melee damage, or use the net guns to stop parries. These items here you don't have to really use. They're just in the game. Obviously, this will be an early access item in the future, which is really fun for like bleed damage builds, or using feelers to do more damage over time with this build. I feel like it's very cool, but everything else about it is like you don't need to use these items unless you want to have some new unique gameplay. But if you're looking for meta stuff, you're looking for wins as a Predator constantly, use these items. These ones on the A tier and also S tier are going to help out quite a bit versus those fighting players that think they are pros, especially those Dutch players. When you verse 4 Dutch players, oh my god, it can be intense, or 4 supports. They get really tanky, they can parry everything. By using these items here in the A tier and the S tier, you have a good chance of winning all your fights as a Predator. But obviously it takes skill, timing, understanding, and knowledge application of how to use these weapons within the game before winning those games quite easily. But tell me your opinions and thoughts in the comment section down below. That is our tier list of the items. I would love to know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. As always, mates, it is a pleasure to have you guys on the channel as we go through this, and I'll catch you, mates, next time. Bye.